Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am finally sitting down and filming their birth story. It has just only taken me almost 5 weeks to do this. I have never been so exhausted in my life having a toddler and a newborn. Thank you guys for being so patient with me and knowing that I can't get videos out as much as I normally do. Maybe for a little bit, like 1 video a week rather than 2 videos a week. I'm gonna do my best to keep doing 2 videos a week, but we'll see. In this video, I'm gonna be going into more detail about my emotions and exactly how I felt in different situations. I also took to Instagram and asked you guys if you had any questions, so I'm going to be answering those questions on here. If you want to be more involved in videos like this, I would suggest following me on Instagram because that's really where I ask questions or where you guys can kind of connect with me on a more personal level and just kind of keep up with me more day to day. And also, I am going to be filming a postpartum update, like a 1-month postpartum update. So if you guys had any questions regarding postpartum, they're probably going to be on that video rather than this one. So stay tuned for that one. Just thank you to everyone that has just said congrats and has sent such sweet messages. It really does mean a lot. And if I don't reply back to you, I still see it and I still appreciate it so much. You guys are just, I'm so blessed by you. But let's go ahead and jump into this video. I'm gonna start at around 36 weeks. At 36 weeks is where my labor started. So at my 36-week appointment, I was dilated 2 centimeters and I think I was around 50% effaced. I really wanted to be around 38 weeks, 39 weeks when I had him. So once I found that out, I started to take it very easy. I tried to stay off my feet as much as possible. Then 37 weeks rolled around and I was checked again and I hadn't progressed at all, which was fine because now I'm like, okay, I'm 37 weeks, I'm good. If I go into labor, everything's gonna be okay. Well, little did I know that me, my mom, Everly, and my sister were all going to get extremely sick. I have never been so sick in my life. And if you have ever been sick pregnant, you know it's just like 10 times worse because you're already not able to sleep at night. And so I was getting absolutely no sleep and I knew bringing a newborn into the world when I was so sick just was definitely not my first choice. So I was praying so hard that God would just keep the little guy inside of me so I could heal up, so my mom could heal up, so Everly could heal up, so that we could really be present in the moment when he came and not just miserably sick. God was really in control of all this because that same week I ended up having to go to the ER because I thought my water had broke. I started noticing some leakage, and when you're pregnant, that's very normal. There's a lot of things going on down there, so a little bit of, extra leakage and things isn't that concerning, but this was different. This was starting to feel like little gushes, and it really wasn't stopping. I noticed it a Friday night, and then it kind of stopped. So I was like, okay, if it's my water, it's not gonna stop, right? And then the next day, I started noticing it again and it wasn't stopping. And I did test positive for group B. And I knew if my water had broken, that is when Truett would have been able to get that virus. So I wanted to make sure that I was there, hooked up to the antibiotics so that I didn't have to worry about that. I ended up going into the ER and I remember when they were checking me, they were very certain that it was my water that had broken. It looked exactly like amniotic fluid. And at this point, I was in the middle of being extremely sick. Thankfully, it ended up not being my water. Actually, what had happened is I got some kind of virus, or I guess actually my pH was off. That's what my doctor told me. It's not anything that I I could have done. It's just sometimes it happens with pregnant ladies. All I had to do was take an antibiotic for a week and everything was fine. Now I am 38 weeks pregnant and I'm feeling so much better. The antibiotics in me, I'm good to go. At my 38-week appointment, I get checked and no progression. And so I started all the natural ways to put yourself into labor. I was ready to get this boy out. I go in to my 39-week appointment and I prayed, you guys. I was like, Jesus, Lord God, give me some answers. Like, show me how this is gonna happen because I am in so much pain. I was in a lot of pain. Baby boy was so low and I was just very, very uncomfortable. And so I went in and I got checked and I was now 3 centimeters dilated and I was 75% effaced and I was cramping on and off. And so my doctor, she was like, okay, like he is ready to go. You have made progression. And she gave us the option if we wanted to come in at midnight and be induced, because at midnight I would have been exactly 39 weeks pregnant. So she wanted to wait until I was exactly, which was fine by me. TJ and I both felt like that was the best option because we knew that he was a bigger baby just from our ultrasound before. And also I did test positive for the group B, so I wanted to make sure that I was on those antibiotics. We both felt like that was the safest way to get him here. So we agreed, we were gonna go in for an induction, and I was so nervous because it just was such a different experience because with my daughter, I was in labor, driving to the hospital, still not sure if I was in labor because it was my first baby. I wasn't really sure what I was feeling, but now this time I know that I'm going in to have a baby. It just was weird. That day I was in extreme nesting mode. I was cleaning everything, baseboards and all. That was crazy. Thankfully, my grandma was here staying with me in town, and so she was able to help. She did like all my laundry, helped me with Everly. She was a saint. So that day was just weird. It felt like a dream. I felt like it wasn't real life. It was, if you've ever been induced, tell me if that's how it was for you, or if you're someone that had a scheduled C-section. Like, how did that feel knowing you're about to go have a baby? It's just weird. It's just weird. We get to the hospital after an hour of just like monitoring me, monitoring him, getting me all hooked up, asking me all those fun questions. They started me on a very low dosage of Pitocin. And I was really nervous about Pitocin because I've heard that that can make for a very hard labor. My mom actually asked about the epidural because she hates seeing me in pain. I think that's any mom for any kid. So she was like, when can she get the epidural? And they were like, she pretty much can get it any time because they already see that I was progressing, or I was already 3 centimeters dilated. And so they did say that I could get a medication called Sadol before the epidural, and that just kind of takes the edge off a little bit. Almost makes you feel like you're drunk is what they described it. I ended up getting that because, I mean, I went in at midnight. I was really exhausted. I was not able to take a nap prior because there's no, you cannot take a nap knowing you're about to have a baby. Like, it's just, you can't. So I wanted to take the Sadol just to kind of take the edge off so I can just kind of relax because the contractions were not super intense right now, but I definitely could feel them. They were definitely to where I wasn't able to sleep at all. So I got that, and that totally took the edge off, made me feel so much better. I was able to rest. After 2 hours, they went ahead and checked me, and I was dilated to a 6. I was like, okay, I definitely want to go ahead and get the epidural because I was really nervous that I was going to wait too long to not get it and it'd be too late, and that would be like my worst fear ever. The Sadol had worn off at this point, and they're like, okay, we're gonna wait an hour to give you the epidural just to like prep you for it. I guess they have to like put like fluids in you and stuff. I'm not really sure exactly. When it comes to contractions and being on Pitocin, I know a lot of people like wonder about that because you just hear horror stories. And it really, I expected it to be a lot worse, honestly. I was handling it pretty well, but I did want to get the epidural just because I just feel safer with the epidural, because you never know when you're going to be needing to do like an emergency C-section, or I don't know. I just feel more comfortable having that. So after an hour, I got the epidural, which was an excruciating experience. The first time I got an epidural with my daughter was a breeze. Literally in, out, no big deal, didn't even feel it. This time around was totally different. The anesthesiologist was not able to get it in straight, and she was like maneuvering it around inside of me. I swear it was like 10 minutes, and I was just moaning and moaning and knowing that I cannot move because she's putting a giant needle inside my spine. I was now laying there with my epidural, feeling good. It was starting to kick in a little bit. They're like, okay, it's still probably gonna be a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn up your Pitocin a little bit. Just relax. It's probably gonna be a bit. And I was like, okay. So fully preparing my head. I'm still only at a 6, so just like a little over halfway. So I'm like, it's gonna be a bit. It was about 45 minutes later, and I had this very intense urge to poop. I was like, crap, no pun intended. So I called my nurse and I was like, girl, you gotta get in here because I gotta go right now. So she knew what was really going on. She goes, let me just check ya, okay? I was like, okay, girl, I wouldn't want to be checking down there right now, but okay. So she checked me and she looked up and she goes, okay, so you are at a 10 and your body is ready to push. And I was like, what? And yes, I had an epidural, but I guess I hadn't had it in long enough to feel the full effect. With my daughter, I didn't feel anything. But this time around was totally different. I felt an extreme amount of pressure. It wasn't like super duper painful. Like I didn't feel like the ring of fire or any of that kind of thing. Thank God. It just felt like so much pressure. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna go get your doctor and we're gonna start pushing. So she leaves and I'm just laying there. I had to push. I'm like, this kid is coming out. There's no stopping it. And I'm just laying there just moaning, and I'm like praying in my head the whole time, Lord Jesus, please keep this baby inside of me right now. TJ calls the nurse and he's like, okay, she really needs to push. So she comes in and I can tell she is very frantic because the doctor still isn't here. No sign of the doctor, no sign of the team. And so she's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be delivering this baby all by myself. So I'm sure she was a bit of a nervous wreck. I'm just like, lady, figure it out because I'm about to have a baby whether you're ready or not, okay? She tells me, she's like, okay, I might be delivering this baby. And I can tell like she's like giving herself like a pep talk, like, okay, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be okay. I'm like, oh my, I was getting so stressed at this point, but I was still trying to keep it very calm because I knew if I was stressed, that wasn't gonna help the situation at all. So I was just focusing on my breathing and not pushing. The team slowly started to come in, thankfully, and then finally, after like 10 minutes of total torture, my doctor comes in. I don't know what happened, but she was like watching me on the monitor, watching to see if I was gonna start practice pushes. Because, I mean, I guess the normal thing is to have some practice pushes before your doctor comes in. But in my situation, we didn't need any of those. And she didn't realize it. And I was like, y'all better get yourself together because I'm about to have a baby. So, finally, I'm in the pushing position. One push. Here comes his little head. He is coming out. This is where it started to get a little scary. And if you guys see in my labor vlog that he got stuck. This was the most intense moment of my life because prior to this moment, just about a week earlier, I had watched a video about a home birth, and this happened at the home birth, and she ended up losing her baby because they were not able to get him out fast enough. And all my mommy instincts just kicked in, and I never pushed so hard in my life. And if you watch the video, that is actually the span of the entire time that I pushed. And it felt like so long, but watching it back, it literally was like maybe 2 minutes. I don't even think it was really a minute, actually. They were on it. They jumped on top of me. TJ ended up having to help as well. He held my legs apart. My mom did not. She was totally out of it. Like, she was so nervous, and so she did not get the greatest footage. And all you really can just hear everything going on. The nurses literally jumped on top of the bed and spread my legs apart, and I pushed with all of my might, and he came flying out. And all that happened on one single giant contraction. Oh my goodness, just the best moment ever. And he is placed on me, and he is crying, and TJ cut the cord, and I just was praising Jesus that my baby was out. That is like the most amazing feeling. You're pregnant for like 10 months, and then you get this perfect little being placed on you, and it's just like, it was worth it. All that pain, everything you go through is just so worth it. That is the end of the birth story. Now I will answer y'all's questions that you had. Let me pull it up. I'm being induced in 2 weeks. Are snacks allowed? At my hospital, no, sadly. They do tell you to eat something right before you go in, and then when I was there, the only thing I could have was popsicles, which they were like the good popsicles. They weren't just like the push-up kind. They were like good, so that's nice. And then crushed ice, but that's it. What's the best thing your husband did for you during labor? TJ is so awesome during labor. He is just super husband. He is so good at just telling me how amazing I am and just being so mind blown at the whole experience. It just makes me feel so empowered. He is very, very hands-on. If you go back and watch the birth vlog, you will really see that. He is absolutely amazing when it comes to birth. Was this birth faster or longer than with your daughter? This was so much faster. I think my body was very ready and just about to go into active labor when I was induced, so it happened very quickly. With my daughter, I pushed for 35 minutes, and with my son, I literally pushed for not even 2 minutes. So I'm kind of nervous for the third, how that's gonna go. What was the pain level comparison to your last birth? So with Everly, I had the epidural, and it was in a lot longer than the second time around. So definitely was in a lot more pain this time than last time, since last time I really wasn't in any pain. It was probably the easiest labor you will ever see. So about to have my first babe, congrats. So anxious, any advice? So my best advice is really just take it a day at a time and just try to just enjoy it, because it goes by so fast. And honestly, babies are not that hard. I mean, yes, it's hard in the sense that it's exhausting, but technically it's not that hard. Like, you just feed them, you change them, they sleep. You really don't need a whole lot, just a bed, diapers, clothes, binky, boobs. That's pretty much it for the first little while. 3 absolute hospital bag necessities you've had with both births. So I did a whole video on exactly what's in my hospital bag, so you guys can watch that. I think the main things is they're asking for baby or for me you've had. I guess it's just like either or. So I would say definitely a good pair of slippers. good nursing outfit, something that you can just be very comfortable in. And the third thing, you don't really need a whole lot for them. They'll have everything really. So just like a cute announcement photo outfit is probably something that I would say is a necessity. Did you get the epidural? If so, how long is the needle? I heard it's long. It's very long. I didn't look, like I will not look, but from what I know, it's like, it's really long. So is that accurate? I don't even know. I didn't look at it. One piece of advice for first-time moms labor-wise. I think my best advice is just really try to enjoy it. I feel like our world really puts a stigma on labor and delivery as a scary thing, but really it's not. It is so much fun. I mean, yes, it can be scary. That's when you just have to really trust God, and you just have to trust your doctors and nurses that they know what you're doing, and also know that you were made to do this. Like your body was made to have babies. So just trusting your body and knowing that it's all gonna work out, everything's gonna be great, and just try to just enjoy it because it is an amazing, amazing experience. How hard was it learning how to breastfeed? Breastfeeding is very hard. If any mother that has ever breastfed their baby, like, you deserve a round of applause. It is not easy. It is a full-time job, and there's so many different things that go into breastfeeding. I actually have a video that I did about a year ago, a little over a year ago, where I talked all about breastfeeding. Maybe I'll do an updated version of that if you guys would be interested, but there's so many things that go into it. But it is for real so worth it. Such an amazing bonding experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Did you rip with either babies? So, as I said before, I ripped with my daughter, did not rip with my son, thank God. But with Everly, I just got like a 1st-degree tear. I had a couple staples and a few stitches, and not terrible at all. How are you genuinely doing mentally? So, this goes into, I think, really the question of like postpartum depression and things like that. Thankfully, as of right now, I have not had any postpartum depression or baby blues. I have had a bit of anxiety, which I will go more into that like during my postpartum update, but mentally, I've been doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Looking back, do you feel that True's shoulder dystopia was handled correctly? And yes, I do. If you go back and watch my birth vlog, it sounded crazy. He was a little bruised, but he was good. Could have been a lot worse. Would you recommend being induced or waiting for your body to go in labor naturally? It really, truly just depends on your situation. Everybody's situation is so different. Ideally, I think you would like to think going into labor naturally would be more ideal. But there's just so many different factors that go into it, and a lot of the times being induced is the best route. It really just depends. That was the last of the questions, so I'm gonna go get True so you guys can see the baby, because I think that's probably why you're here. So here he's just waking up. He was taking a nap, but here is Mr. Truett. Here's my baby. You're yawning, bub. You're just waking up. Can you open your eyes? Show everyone your eyes. Say hi, everyone. This was the little baby that was inside of me. But yeah, so here is Mr. Truett Ray. He's nice and chunky, and he's perfect. He just turned 1 month yesterday. Can you guys believe that? It's already been a month. But he's getting very chunky and so perfect. And we are just so in love with him. And Everly is doing absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of her. But yeah, so here's my baby. Aww. So it's all worth it. All the craziness. It was all worth it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can go back to sleep. What do you think? All those little squeaks. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next one. Bye guys. Bye guys. See you next time.